The moment Simon Cowell leaned forward and said, "This song is a guaranteed hit," the entire AGT theater froze in disbelief. Standing alone under the spotlight was a young Filipino singer from Quezon City, carrying nothing but a borrowed jacket, a trembling voice, and a dream big enough to cross oceans. What happened next changed his life forever. If you love true stories of talent, struggle, and impossible dreams coming true, make sure you subscribe now and stay with us until the end. Story script, plain paragraph narration. When the lights of America's Got Talent 2025 rose on the massive stage, no one in the audience knew the name Miguel Santos. He was not a celebrity, not a viral sensation, and not backed by any powerful agency. He was simply a Filipino singer from Quezon City, Philippines, who had traveled farther than he ever imagined, carrying the weight of his family's hopes on his shoulders. Miguel grew up in a narrow alley where the sound of jeepneys, street vendors, and late-night karaoke blended into the soundtrack of his childhood. Music was not a luxury in his home, it was a necessity, a refuge from hunger, fear, and uncertainty. His father worked long hours as a tricycle driver, and his mother sold rice cakes at dawn just to keep food on the table. From a young age, Miguel learned that dreams were expensive, and reality was unforgiving. As a child, Miguel sang not on stages but in cramped rooms with flickering lights. He practiced quietly at night so he wouldn't wake his younger siblings, imagining crowds he had never seen in places he had never been. In school, teachers noticed his voice, but encouragement alone could not pay for vocal lessons or studio time. When typhoons flooded their neighborhood, Miguel helped salvage what little they had, singing to keep his siblings calm as rain poured through the roof. There were moments when his parents gently suggested he find a more practical path, not because they doubted him, but because they feared the world would break him. The twist came when a short video of Miguel singing at a local barangay event went online. It wasn't polished or professionally recorded. The microphone cracked, the background was noisy, and yet his voice cut through everything. It carried pain, hope, and honesty. The video reached someone unexpected, a Filipino nurse working in California who felt an instant connection to the song. She shared it again, and again, until suddenly Miguel's voice crossed borders he had never left. An AGT talent scout noticed the clip late one night and sent a message that Miguel initially thought was a scam. The idea of auditioning for America's Got Talent felt impossible. Miguel didn't even own a passport. His family held a small meeting in their living room, the same room where they shared meals and dreams. They decided to sell their old refrigerator and borrow money from relatives. It was a painful choice, but it was also a statement of faith. Miguel promised them that no matter what happened, he would sing with everything he had, not just for himself but for all of them. Arriving in America was overwhelming. The buildings felt too tall, the streets too wide, and the silence in hotel rooms too loud. Backstage at AGT, Miguel watched performers with flashy outfits and confident smiles. Doubt crept in. He questioned whether his simple background and unfamiliar accent would be enough. Then came another twist. Just hours before his audition, Miguel learned that the song he planned to perform had been removed from the approved list due to copyright issues. Panic set in. He had no backup track prepared for an orchestra stage. With shaking hands, Miguel approached a producer and asked if he could sing an original song instead, one he had written back in Quezon City during nights without electricity. The song was deeply personal, inspired by his parents' sacrifices and the feeling of being invisible in a crowded world. The producers hesitated. Original songs were risky, but something in Miguel's eyes convinced them to take the chance. When Miguel finally stepped onto the AGT stage, the lights were blinding. Simon Cowell, known for his brutal honesty, sat with his arms crossed. The audience was quiet, curious but cautious. Miguel introduced himself softly, his voice slightly breaking as he mentioned Quezon City. There was a brief pause, the kind that stretches time. Then he began to sing. From the first note, something shifted. His voice was raw but controlled, gentle yet powerful. The song spoke of dreams packed into suitcases, of mothers counting coins, of fathers hiding tears behind tired smiles. It was not just a performance, it was a confession. The audience leaned forward. The judges exchanged glances. As the chorus soared, Miguel closed his eyes, and for a moment, it felt like the entire theater was breathing with him. Midway through the song, his voice cracked. Gasps echoed across the room. For a split second, it seemed like the moment might collapse. Then Miguel steadied himself and sang the next line even stronger, turning vulnerability into strength. That imperfection made the performance unforgettable. By the final note, silence filled the room, followed by an explosion of applause. Simon Cowell stood up. The crowd went wild. Simon waited for the noise to die down before speaking. He looked directly at Miguel and said something that no one expected. He said this song wasn't just good, it was a guaranteed hit. He said it sounded like something people would play in their cars, in their homes, and in their hardest moments. For a judge known for crushing dreams, those words felt like a miracle. Another twist followed backstage. A major music producer approached Miguel immediately, offering guidance but warning him that fame comes with pressure. Miguel was torn. He remembered friends back home who had chased opportunities only to lose themselves. That night, he called his parents and cried, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. He told them Simon Cowell believed in his song. His mother replied with one sentence that grounded him. Sing with your heart, not your ego. As the episodes aired, Miguel's story resonated across America. Filipino communities gathered around screens, but so did people from small towns, big cities, and different backgrounds. His song climbed digital charts, not because of marketing, but because it felt real. Yet success brought another challenge. Online critics questioned whether he deserved the praise. Some accused the show of exaggeration. Miguel read the comments late at night, feeling the old doubts return. In the semi-finals, Miguel faced another dramatic moment when his voice nearly failed due to exhaustion. Doctors advised rest, but the schedule was unforgiving. He chose to perform anyway, adjusting his arrangement and proving that artistry is not just about power, but about intelligence and emotion. Simon later admitted that Miguel's growth impressed him more than his first audition. By the time the finale arrived, Miguel was no longer just a contestant. He was a symbol of quiet perseverance. Whether he won or not became secondary. He had already changed his family's life and inspired countless others who felt unseen. Standing on that stage one last time, Miguel smiled, knowing that the boy from Quezon City had made it heard in the loudest room in America. As the show ended, Miguel thanked the audience, the judges, and everyone who believed in his voice before the world did. He reminded viewers that talent can come from anywhere, even from the smallest alleys halfway across the globe. His journey proved that one honest song can cross borders, break barriers, and touch hearts. Now we want to hear from you. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Drop your city or state in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from.